Welcome to this season of Cab Conversations. We've taken on a little bit different form this year, and today we're joined by three farmers throughout the United States. We will talk with Kenan Michael, who's located in California, Jay Hill in New Mexico, and Adam Kastner in Missouri. Today we're going to talk a lot about water issues, and because we're in such a diverse area, it gives us an opportunity to pick brains from farmers that are battling different and struggling with different issues in water. Kenan, California has been in the news a lot. Let's talk a little bit about some of the things that what is going on your farm in California and some of the issues that are being brought up.
We've got about a third of our farm is fallowed this year, or we've abandoned acres of wheat and other crops. So obviously impact, we're actually probably a farm that's in better shape than a lot of other ones. There's some that are even in a lot worse shape. So, obviously laying off a lot of guys, a lot less work for our folks who do contracting work for us. A lot less products are going to be produced. We're not going to buy the fertilizer, the seed, the fuel, the tires, the tractors, all the things that our communities here locally depend upon. And then a lot of California products are processed here and then sent other places, so none of that activity will happen. So,
where we're at here in southern New Mexico, we've been in a drought. This is our 17th year officially of being in drought, and right now we're facing a couple different issues between Texas water users and New Mexico water users in the lower Rio Grande region. So with the pressure not only from the government standpoint, but as far as Mother Nature is concerned, it's pushed us to find new and innovative ways to take care of what water we do have. And in doing so, we've been implementing subsurface drip, minimizing some of our cover crops, making sure what we are putting cover crops on is for vegetable production. And that's where we're standing right now.
I'm kind of the oddball in this conversation. If we have water issues, it's because we have too much water. We went through the drought in 2012, and in 2011 we were in drought conditions. It wasn't very severe, but we were suffering from drought conditions, but yet alone we fought floodwaters all summer long.
How do you utilize the information that maybe Kenan is looking at different technologies and be able to utilize something like that in Missouri?
They're kind of at the forefront right now of it. There'll be probably down the line, there'll be some other states come up with issues with water. We'll be able to turn to guys like Kenan and Jay that have been experiencing this and use their technologies they've came up with to better utilize what they have on their farm.
Jay and Kenan, what can agriculture take from you guys and the struggles that you guys have had with water issues? 17 years of drought, 6 years of drought, and water utilization technologies.
Out here, we've just been seeing a lot of negative press about farmers and about what we do. And our farm uses a lot of technology, do a lot of different things. But it's just been disappointing to me to see how many people don't seem to realize that what they eat and what they wear, all those things are produced with water. And the lack of respect for farmers, really has been kind of disheartening. I don't know if that's just a California thing, or I would recommend to anybody in agriculture to try to figure out how to tell your story more, how to interact with people more, let them know that it's not a store where their food comes from. It's somebody actually doing a lot of hard work. We use a lot of drip irrigation or a lot of GPS and all the different high tech stuff we can do, and run as efficient an operation as we can. Every resource that we have, we use it to the utmost that we can. So it is frustrating to see a lot of false information out there.
Jay, and in your role with the USFRA, it kind of gives you a consumer-facing opportunity to talk about what you do in the technology.
It's amazing to see what people, when you ask somebody that lives in an urban environment to paint a picture of what they think a modern-day farmer looks like, what you see is the guy still in his overalls with a pitchfork standing in his front yard. And one thing people fail to notice is the amount of technology that is necessary for us to do our jobs in today's world. One of the neat things is I heard a statistic the other day that an average farmer today uses more technology and more bioscience and biochemistry than most college professors do in 3 months. And showing an image that we are evolving with the times and we're doing what is necessary to take care of the natural resources that we do have and we don't have. Just a lot like Cannon said, there is a big negative picture painted, and we do feel that pressure here in southern New Mexico, be it through environmental groups or just people that are uneducated and uninformed with what the current climate is under, with the kind of pressures that we're going through on a day-to-day basis. I think that I feel that with USFRA, it's giving me the opportunity to show people, this is where your bloomin' onion comes from, or this is where we grow the pecans for your pumpkin pie, or your pecan pie, excuse me, and things like that. And being able to engage people on a day-to-day basis through social networking and things like that, it's starting to open some doors. One thing that I preach is that as farmers, we have to be transparent, and it doesn't matter what size of operation we have. People want to know, where their food comes from and if it's healthy and grown responsibly. And USFRA is one of those avenues that lets us, convey the message of the American farmer.
What questions do you have for each other?
Adam, when you guys are at flood stage and you've got corn and beans in the field, do you guys use a diversion? How do you keep that water off your fields? Is there a place to send it?
There's levees on both sides of the river, unless there's a high bluff available. Then that we'll use that for protection. But other than that, there's no other diversion for it. Our levees are our last line of defense for us. So once we lose the levee or it starts overtopping a levee, where I'm located right here is we're actually in like a bowl, and the levee makes us a bowl, and so whenever the levee breaks and we flood, we have to end up cutting the levee on the downstream side to let all the water back out. Our main problem is like the Fish and Wildlife and these environmental groups have gotten a hold of our congressmen. The Congress writes the Corps' master manual, and they have to do whatever the master manual says. And these environmental groups are Fish and Wildlife groups like that have been shoving money in Congress pockets to push their agendas, and we can't even use our river for navigation anymore. We can't send grain up and down with barges because it's getting too shallow in places, because they're trying to shallow the river back up for fish and wildlife. So we've got to somehow figure out a way to get our river back.
Our markets are based off of what happens in California, especially with lettuce and cabbage and things of that nature. And so we hear the horror stories that there's not going to be enough lettuce, or onion crops down and things of that nature. But what's the forecast? Are you guys gonna? If this drought continues, what are you going to give up and what are you going to keep into?
I know a lot of guys south of us who've got a lot of the permanent crops like the trees. They've abandoned all the row crop ground that they have because they're trying to put every drop of water they have onto their trees. But yeah, I think that a lot of the vegetable market is it's at least the acreage is going down here pretty quick. A lot of guys are relying on well water too, and the well water is not that good quality, and it's going to have effects on their ground long term because it's the quality issue is going to take a long time to kind of fix that. So I would think that the vegetables market's going to stay pretty strong because of California have so many widespread issues.
We got to get together and preach our story and bring our city cousins back to what goes on out here on the farm, and show them that being wasteful is costing us money, and that's not something we want to do. We're being best stewards we can of our resources.
I had some family members who got in some conversations. They live in the Bay Area, and they were being told farming shouldn't happen in California, and it was they're wasting the water and all this stuff, and really made me realize, because it was my sister actually, and she told me she didn't feel comfortable on how to, because she wasn't raised down here on the farm. She's always lived in the city, and she told me that she wasn't real comfortable how to defend it. And you got to start even with them and arm them with some facts and give them some information, because it's going to take everybody to to have at least, you know, a way to talk intelligently about agriculture. It's got to be like a grassroots deal. I mean, we can rely on some of our industry organizations to try to help them do it, but I mean, at the end of the day, people want to hear from the farmer themselves. We could tell a lot better story than, you know, some guy in a suit or who's paid to tell the story. So you just have to find ways to get it out.
I mean, we're consumers too, but I mean, you take me and drop me in Adam's world, and I have no clue on what's going on. I mean, I've never actually walked into a soybean field in my life, and so when I hear about different things going on, you know, it's easy to say, well, why in the world would you do that? But I have no experience, and I don't know anything about it. And so, you know, people like Adam that are, you know, like, I commend both of you guys too for getting on here and at least sharing your story a little bit about what's going on. And if we get more people, more growers like us, I think it will make a positive impact in the ag community.
Yeah.
We have 8 weeks and 12 different growers to share stories, and we appreciate you guys for kicking us off, and we will check back in with you in a month.